Idaho Matters is brought to you in part by St. Luke's Pharmacy, now offering free home delivery. For daily medications or one-time prescriptions, home delivery is easy to set up. It's convenient and safe. St. Luke's Pharmacy, now delivering to your doorstep. Information on how to get started at stlukesonline.org.
Love Boise State Public Radio podcasts? They are free to enjoy, but not free to produce. If you can give, your support helps keep shows like Idaho Matters and Scandalize available to everyone. Donate now at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Samantha Wright, filling in for Gemma Gaudette, and this is Idaho Matters. Okay, I am looking at the video of the cutest baby owl that I have ever seen. It's fuzzy and gray. It has huge yellow eyes. This is a northern white-faced owl. It's just 4 weeks old, and its name is Knox. These owls come from Africa, where many raptors are in trouble, but for a very limited time, you can see Knox up close and personal before he goes off for some training to become the newest Avian Ambassador for the Peregrine Fund and the World Center for Birds of Prey. Stephanie Ashley is the curator of birds at the Peregrine Fund. She's joining me now with Knox. Stephanie and Knox, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Okay, that's Knox. He is, oh my gosh, he's adorable. Can you describe him for us? This is radio, so what's he look like?
Yeah, so he's about the size of a large orange, to give you a little reference. And later on, if you look at the picture, the video, he looks bigger in the video you're looking at right now because he's closer to the camera, right? But he's about the size of a large orange. He's light gray in color with like dark gray stripes and a really striking white face that's outlined in black. And he's got bright orange eyes. And then he has these little tiny, we call them plumicorns. Those are the feathers that look like ears that aren't really ears on top of his head. And when he gets older, you'll be able to see those a little bit better. But all of him is kind of filling in with the colors he's going to be for the next year. But he's got little fluffy bits still on the end of his feathers that make him look almost kind of like out of focus, where you can't quite, like a little bit fuzzy.
He's so adorable. Oh my gosh. I can't get over it. Okay, and you said he's the size of an orange. He's tiny.
Yeah. So these are pretty small owls. Here in Idaho, we have a small owl that's a similar size, which is our western screech owl. So also a gray owl, also having those feathers on top, those plumicorns, and about the same size, but living here in Boise. So as you mentioned before, this particular species, the northern white-faced owl, is from Africa. So not a species you can see here in the United States.
Well, okay, right. These guys are native to sub-Saharan Africa. So how in the world did Knox end up in Boise, Idaho?
So Knox was bred in captivity. This is a species that we've been keeping in captivity for some years now. And so we have breeding populations in the U.S. And so we have a breeder friend who lives out in Delaware who produced him for us. And then last week, he made the trip from Delaware all the way to Boise by car, if you can imagine, when he was 3 weeks old. So he's about 4.5 weeks old now and starting to be able to fly really well.
Wow, he's already had quite a journey. Okay, so I read up a little bit on him. I understand that in Africa they can eat things like scorpions, and I'll just say yuck. What else do they eat?
So they're really going to be eating pretty much anything they can catch. Insects for sure, scorpions, lots of bugs. But also they'll eat rodents, maybe small lizards, and some of them even get really good at hunting small birds.
Wow. Okay. So his new job is going to be helping folks learn more about your programs in Africa. You have a lot of them. Tell me what you do. You're doing a lot of conservation and trying to help raptors there.
Yeah, so we've primarily been operating in Kenya, which we've been done for many, many years, and we've recently expanded those operations as well. We were looking broadly at a variety of raptor species across those areas. raptors in Africa, the more we study them, the more we understand. First of all, they're not super well studied in general. All the different species, especially owls in Africa, even though we know who they are, we've seen them, a lot of those species aren't being individually studied. We like to look at population trends for sure, but in Africa, they are specifically looking at how humans are affecting birds of prey. And so some of the biggest concerns are power lines and poisoning. Poisoning is happening a lot with species that will eat carrion, especially vultures. And a lot of that is, unfortunately, in Africa is intentional. And so our teams in Africa are working with local people to help them understand why raptors and vultures are so important and why they shouldn't be poisoning them. And then working on some of the issues like poaching of large, like rhinos and elephants that causes them to poison the vultures, because the vultures will let the authorities know where those animals have recently died, right? And so you'll see poachers go in and kill them intentionally so that they don't get a heads up on that. So a lot of it is trying to survey those areas and see where the poison is, and a lot of it's education.
Well, and that's one of the solutions, right? Education. You work on a lot of programs in Africa to help, to save them, not just to find out how they're doing and where they are, but to try and find ways for them to survive.
Yeah, education is like such an important part of what we do. We do not have a future with conservation if we don't have education. And so getting people to understand the value of wildlife, and for us, for birds of prey in particular, and what they can do to help support them in the long term is important, because scientists make up such a small percentage of the human population, right? We can't just fix it on our own. We need to recruit the people who live where these birds live, to make changes in their lives to make sure that we can have these guys around for a long time.
Wow. Okay, so I know you're working in Africa, so we're not in Africa. So what could we do on the ground, say here in Idaho, to help birds like Knox and his friends?
Well, first thing I'm going to tell you what's going on right now with owls in Boise. We have both great horned owls and western screech owls, which are common in neighborhoods here in Boise and throughout Idaho, and really throughout the western United States, that are fledging. And so those young birds are about Knox's age, and they are leaving the nest for the first time, and they can't fly yet. They have to get out of the nest really, really fast so that they can not be such a sitting target for predators. And so this time of year, people might be seeing those young birds around. They tend to end up in bushes or lower in trees or even on the ground. And sometimes they end up in people's homes because people think that they're going to help that bird by taking it home and helping it out. And so the very first thing that you can do to help these guys out is be aware that fledging and not being able to fly, and they'll hop from branch to branch and tree to tree and bush to bush, and they'll even climb trees a little bit when they get too far down, but their parents are taking care of them during this process. It's an important process for them to go through, and they're going to learn how to hunt and they're going to learn how to fly, but they're vulnerable in the meantime. So understanding that they go through this developmental stage and not accidentally kidnapping a bird from the wild is important. And also making sure that your pets are under control, your cats are inside, your dogs are on a leash when you're out in places where there are wildlife and birds of prey is important too. And then the second thing for owls, we have started to understand that poisoning is an issue for owls here in the United States too, but it's secondary poisoning. So it's unintentional poisoning. So it's usually because we're trying to poison the things that the owls eat, the rats and the mice and the squirrels. And so using traps instead of poison is a really good way to help those birds in your neighborhoods as well.
So there's a phrase I wasn't aware I was going to learn today: accidental kidnapping. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're speaking with Stephanie Ashley, the curator of birds at the Peregrine Fund, about their newest Avian Ambassador, Knox, the northern white-faced owl. I'm looking at Knox right now. He's on your arm, and I think he's preening his feathers, right? He's cleaning his feathers. Is that what he's doing?
He's preening. He's making a really big mess on my desk, I have to tell you. So birds spend a whole lot of energy and a good portion of their time preening, taking care of their feathers. And when they're at this age, they're growing feathers really fast. And he's growing all of his feathers at once. They come in a little waxy sheath that he has to then preen off as they're coming in. And so since they're all coming in at once, he's preening all the time to get that waxy sheath off. And it comes off of him like dander. So right now, where I'm at, it's like it's snowing with bird dander, like all over the place, if you can imagine, as he's doing those feathers. He also has, I described earlier, the edge of those feathers, the very end is really fluffy. That's the down feathers that was mostly keeping him warm when he was in the nest. On the tips of those feathers that have grown in. He still has down feathers underneath his feathers that are keeping him warm. But as he's preening the feathers, those little teeny tiny fluffy bits are going to come off. And so those are coming off too. And we've got like snow of these little down feathers and this waxy sheath as well.
Oh my gosh! So he's kind of dragging his beak along the feathers, and then I can see, because I'm looking right at you and Knox, these little bits of fluff just flying everywhere.
Yeah, it's really gross. Being totally honest, it's like everywhere. So baby birds, like they're always surrounded by. They look like they need head and shoulders because everything they touch is has these little flakes on it. But as his feathers finish up growing up over the next couple of weeks, that will even out and it won't be such a thing anymore.
Well, on video, because I'm not there, it just looks like it's snowing and it's cute. Okay, we've got another chance to meet Knox this week because you're sort of introducing him. When can we see him? I think today, but not unless you get there in the next couple of minutes. But tomorrow, right? Folks can still see him?
Yeah, today and tomorrow are the last days that you're guaranteed. He's got a dedicated program time at 1:00. So you can come in and have a up close look at him, have a chance to answer questions, see what he's like. After today, I mentioned earlier that he's starting to fly already pretty well. And we need to get him some training so that he's not flying in inappropriate places and so that it's not super crazy. So after today, he's going to go into training a little bit before he makes, after tomorrow, before he makes a public appearance again.
And he's training to be an Avian Ambassador, right? We'll see more of him in the future?
That's correct. That's correct. So his job is going to be this, teaching people about birds of prey and why they're fun and exciting and why they're worthy of protection. We have found that ambassador animals, having that opportunity for people to get up close and personal with a living animal is making them more likely to want to conserve or do something to protect the environment or that particular animal in the long run. And so he's got a really important job coming up.
He does. And speaking of avian ambassadors, you won't be able to see Knox at the Snake River Raptor Fest on Saturday in Kuna, but some of his new friends will be there. Which birds are coming to Raptor Fest this year?
Well, I don't want to make any hard promises because our birds work voluntarily. We ask them if they want to go. They decide if they want to go or not. But right now we are planning on taking our Swainson's Hawk Griffin and our American Kestrel Clara. And this will be her first year at Raptor Fest. And also our Cassini, our Cassin's Peregrine Falcon, Schmidt. And the Cassin's Peregrine Falcon is from Argentina, from down there in the Patagonia region of Argentina. They look different than the subspecies that we have here in North America. So if you haven't seen Schmidt before, definitely go check that out.
Oh my gosh.
And we will also, for Raptor Fest, we've got the birds that are there, but we also have our retail will be there as well. We've got some really, really great raptor things that you'll be able to buy too if you're interested in that.
And of course, we can always come see raptors at the World Center for Birds of Prey in Boise, right?
Yes, come see us. We are now open every day of the week through the rest of the summer and most of the rest of the year from about 10 o'clock in the morning to about 4:30 in the afternoon. And come and see us. We do 3 programs a day. A lot of the times we would try to fly the birds. So you might see them have that experience of a bird flying right over the top of your head, which is exceptional. Yeah.
Wow. And he just scratched with his foot, and there's feathers everywhere.
Yeah, you should see my desk. I wish I could show you how gross my desk looks right now.
Stephanie, thanks for bringing Knox over for a little checkout on Zoom. I really appreciate it. He's adorable.
Thank you for having us.
All right. We've been speaking with Stephanie Ashley, the curator of birds at the Peregrine Fund, about their newest avian ambassador, Knox, the northern white-faced owl. You've got one more chance to see him tomorrow at the World Center for Birds of Prey in Boise. And we're going to put some adorable pictures of Knox on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Idaho Matters. And for quick news of the day, start your mornings with our podcast. It's called The Connector, Idaho Daily News. And if you haven't yet, could I ask you to leave us a review wherever you listen? We read every single one, and we'd love to hear from you.
You know, every day on Up First, NPR's Golden Globe-nominated morning news podcast, we bring you 3 essential stories. At the heart of each story are questions. What really happened? What really mattered? What happens next? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious and to follow the facts. Follow Up First wherever you get your podcasts and start your day knowing what matters and why.